Friends, we are going to continue our discussion over Unit 3rd, that is entitled as Company Audit. I welcome you once again in the lecture series of the subject auditing. We have reached up to the next level of understanding the liabilities, role, responsibilities, powers and duties of the auditor. In the last few lectures, we have seen eligibility, qualification, disqualification, as well as we have seen appointment, removal, remuneration of company auditor. I, Dr. Supriya Sobule, welcome you for today's discussion on powers and duties of company auditor. Let us see introduction. Each auditor of the company will have a right to access at all times to the books of accounts and vouchers of the company, whether kept at the registered office of the company or such other place, and also he shall authorize to require from the officer such information as may be required. So this is what the right of the auditor, that the auditor can access at all times the books of the accounts that may be kept in the head office or that may be kept in the branch. He may access to the all vouchers of the company, may be kept at registered office or any other such place. Also, he is authorized to require the information from the officers, the information which is required for completion of his work or performance of his duty. The auditor will make a report to the members of the company on accounts scrutinized. So the auditor has a right to access to the accounts for the purpose of scrutinizing the accounts inspected by him, and on every financial statements which are required by this act, and it is to be laid before the company in general meeting. So it is his duty that whatever the requirements of the statements are there as per the act, that should be laid before the company. It should be prepared, maintained, authorized, scrutinized, examined, inspected, and kept before the general meeting. The report shall, after taking into accounts, the report shall be prepared after taking into accounts the auditing and assurance standards and matters which are required should be comprised in the auditor's report. So auditor has a liability, responsibility to prepare the report based on the work that he has done, the work of examination of the accounts or scrutinizing account, inspection of the vouchers, and all those things which are covered in the auditing. He has to complete his work, prepare a report, and the report should contain his opinion, and that report should be prepared according to the auditing and assurance standard and the requirements of the Companies Act. The report should be presented, kept before the general meeting of the shareholders. The auditor's report shall mention in it the following matters: whether he has acquired all the required information and explanation which is to the best of his knowledge and belief are necessary for the purpose of an audit. That means the auditor is required to mention in his report that whatever information is required and explanations are required for his knowledge purpose, for completion of the audit purpose, whether those are acquired or not. In the event if the proper information isn't received, then such details and effect of such information on financial statement should be stated in the auditor's report. The auditor has to mention the remark whether the explanation and information has been provided to him or not, complete information is provided or he has been misguided, or justification is not provided. The auditor has to mention all those matter. If the proper books of accounts as per requirement of law is maintained or not. We know that as per Companies Act, we have to maintain the accounts whether those are prepared or not. Also, whether proper returns sufficient for the purpose of audit has been received from the branches or not, visited by him or not. So the auditor has to mention all those information, that proper justification, proper explanation, information has been provided from the branch, from the office, whether it is provided or not, that is to be assessed, and on this basis the report is to be prepared. If the report in respect of such a branch which is audited by the auditor except the company auditor has been sent to him, the report from the branch respect which is audited by the auditor except the company auditor has been sent to him. That means if suppose branch is audited by some other person, that report should be sent to the main head office auditor, whether it is sent or not, whether the company's balance sheet and profit loss account are in sync with the books of accounts and returns, whether those are matching or there is a difference. In case of financial statement, whether accounting standards have been fulfilled or not, the observations and comments of the auditor on financial transactions or matters that are having a contrary effect on the company. The observation and comments of the auditor on the financial statement is required if those are having contrary effect on the company, negative impact on the company, proper explanation must be provided. Where any of the director is disqualified to be appointed as a director, the auditor has to check that whether any person is disqualified but appointed on the post of director. If such disqualification is possessed, then also the auditor has to check. Any of the qualification, reservations or adverse remarks in respect of maintenance of books of accounts or other matters connected therewith, any qualification. Now here qualification does not mean academic qualification. The negative remarks or suspicious aspects or reservation of the opinion of the auditor is considered as qualification. We can say adverse remark also. Regarding maintenance of the books of accounts and the matters connected therewith. So if auditor is not satisfied regarding the matters, then also he can mention, it will be considered as qualification, reservation, adverse remark. Whether the company has sufficient internal control system, financial control system in place and operative effectiveness of such control. It is necessary that every company has an effective financial internal control system. If it is in place, then it is okay. If it is not so having operative effectiveness or it is inefficient, then also the auditor has to mention. Whether the company has disclosed the impact of any pending litigation in the financial statement. The auditor has to check that whether the company has any financial litigations. If so, it has its impact on the financial statement should be disclosed, because the financial statements are the communication way or media towards the shareholders. Whether the company have made provision in regard to any of the material predictable losses as required by the law or accounting standards comprising the derivative contracts. The company, if has made any provision regarding material losses in future, whether those are in accordance with the standards, accounting standards or not, whether the company has made a deferral in transferring amount required to be transferred to investor education and protection fund by the company. If the company has any provision regarding or the amount transferred to investor education and protection fund, then it should be checked. Now let us understand section 145 regarding auditor to sign audit reports. A person who is appointed as the auditor of the company can sign auditor's report, or also can sign or can certify any other documents of the company and present the same before the general meeting, and shall be open for member scrutiny as well as inspection. So the person who is in the capacity of the auditor or in the position of the auditor may prepare a report and sign it, may certify the statements, okay, and that should be presented before the annual general meeting, and it is open for members to scrutiny and for inspection too. According to section 146, the auditor can attend the general meeting. All such notices and other communication relating to the general meeting will be forwarded to the auditor. He can attend meeting either by himself or through his authorized representative and has right to be heard at such meeting. So it is a right to the auditor or power of the auditor that he may attend the annual general meeting, and also he has right to heard at the annual general meeting. The auditor shall comply with the accounting standards section 144. Auditor not to render certain services. These certain services are accounting and bookkeeping services, internal audit design and implementation of any financial information system, actuarial services, investment advisory services, investment banking services, rendering of outsourced financial services, management services, any other kind of services as may be prescribed. So these were the services which are prohibited by the section 144. The auditor cannot render such services. It is specifically mentioned that auditor should not render services, certain services. Those are given here, we have discussed. So in today's session we have seen what is the power and some section relating to the powers and duties of the auditor. The auditor has many rights. He can attend the meeting, he can get the remuneration, he can access the books of accounts, he can inspect, he can get explanation, justification, he can visit the branches, he can check and inspect the accounts, he can prepare the account, he can prepare his audit report based on his inspected work. Also he has some powers and duties. His opinion he can express on the basis of the inspected accounts and also put forward that opinion in the form of report in the annual general meeting. He has right to attend the meeting and to be heard at the meeting. His report is going to be scrutinized and examined by the attendees also. So today the topic of the discussion was powers and duties of the company auditor. In the next session we can meet with the new topic. Thank you.